Hey there. Before we get started, I just wanted to come on and ask you all a favor. In our research, we've discovered that the vast majority of you do not actually like and subscribe to our podcast. And so, if I could ask you to do so, I won't ask you for anything else. And I promise to make this podcast the best I can every day. Me and the team really strive to do that for you. And so, if you could do this for us, we would be eternally grateful. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mickelle Weber, founder and auteur of House of Peregrine. Expat, immigrant, pioneer, none of these were a fit, but Peregrine describes what we are all about perfectly. Those that craft their life story with intention. I've spent the last 6 years in awe of the life-changing connections and stories I have experienced while living abroad, and believe it is time for this adventure to be recognized, celebrated, and elevated to the life stage that it is. Through these interviews, I hope to connect those living internationally more deeply to both the place they are living and with themselves and those around them. We cover everything from international finances and meaning-making to global parenting and relationships to make your time abroad more intentional, edifying, and full of beauty. Find us at houseofperegrine.com, where you can find more ways to connect with the ethos of Peregrine. I hope you enjoy today's guest. Let's get started. Okay, hi. Today we have on the podcast Stephane Gombauld, who is the co-founder and CEO at Heavnn, a global tax optimization firm for location-independent people. Heavnn is a technology solution making international taxes easier for digital nomads and remote-first companies. He describes himself as a tax technologist and loves to help people live in their dream destination and internationalize their lives and businesses. Thanks for coming on. I would love for you to start. Can you introduce yourself, what your work in the realm of living internationally entails?
Hi, Mickelle. Thanks for having me. So how can I describe myself? I'm co-founder and CEO of Heavnn, as you explained already. I'm a digital nomad myself, or I should say a location-independent worker. I had different traveling style. First, I started as an expat, staying between 6 months and 2 years in one country. Since 2016, I started to travel. Then at some point, I accelerated and stayed only 3 months in some countries. And at the moment, I am more of a digital nomad, traveling very fast between Bulgaria, Croatia, South Africa, or other countries. So that's a little bit about my traveling style. I think we'll have more opportunities to get deeper into the business and tax optimization of what we do at Heavnn. But this is also what I do while traveling. I help other digital nomads and also remote first companies to optimize their taxes, but also design the right remote setup for them. That means being able to work from anywhere legally without having the fear of different penalties or fines in various countries.
And I'd love to dig into that for just a second. How do you define, or maybe there isn't a difference, you said between digital nomad and independent location worker? Like, how do you, is this a distinction without a difference, or is it the same? Or how do you define it?
There is a difference. I think at the end there are many different words, but for us at Heavnn, and this is also something that I use in my personal life, it's basically we differentiate based on kind of the tax status or the tax implications of the way people travel. What we see as different categories are basically the digital nomads that are the fastest travelers, staying less than 3 months in one country. We see slow mads that are staying between 3 months and 3 and 6 months. Afterwards, there are what we call international remote workers that stay a little bit more than 6 months, but still less than a year. And after that, we also differentiate with expat, basically relocating to a new country and staying a bit longer, between 1 year and maximum 5 years. And after 5 years, we consider immigrants, because at some point you become a local in the country that you relocated to. So we consider the individuals, people working to a new country for more than 5 years as immigrants. And the whole population is called location independent, but there is no official vocabulary to be used. This is personally how we define the different categories, because each of them has a different tax situation based on their traveling habits, and it's also easier just to know who does what and how, basically.
Yeah. And it seems like, I mean, I want to back up for a second and talk about, it seems like you have a passion for this, for helping this type of person. And so I want to ask, how did you come to this type of work? What makes you so passionate about it, I guess?
Just yeah, you're right, this is a passion, and it's basically just it's a mix of things. First is passion, the passion for traveling, but also the passion of meeting new people, just different cultures, interacting with people from different cultures, different background. This is something that I started to do in 2015, first as a partier in Paris, meeting expats that were visiting the city, and at some point we get addicted to that, to see the cultural differences, seeing that this is possible to see the world with completely new eyes, with a completely different culture, and I find that so enriching that I basically wanted to to stay in this world, and then keep interacting with digital nomads, expats, or location dependent workers. And then naturally, as I was a tax technologist even before, I decided to start my own business and help this community.
I love that you use the word tax technologist. I would love to see, I mean, what does it mean? And also, how did you come to that term? Because there's lots of tax attorneys, there's lots of tax people, but tax technologist, I love that you've come up with this and own it. So tell me a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, basically, tax technologist is someone who studied and worked as a tax expert, but then added technology side in their expertise. We are not that many, even if now it starts to get a little bit more democratized. But yeah, when I decided to be a tax technology, that means how can I say, focusing on software, using my tax knowledge in order to produce efficient solutions, both for tax experts and for individuals. It was a difficult decision because at the time it was very hard to find a job in the field. Not that many companies or even consulting groups were hiring tax technologists. But at the end, what I thought was that taxes are too hard to manage. Even for tax experts, all those tax returns, it's so complicated to put together that I believe that the future would be with a high level of technology that would help both individuals, companies, but also just tax experts to manage taxes correctly. And this is basically the bet that I took back in 2013 to have this atypical journey between taxes and technology. And today I don't regret at all, because thanks to that, with Heavnn, we're capable of offering tax technology solution that helps the individuals, but also companies. But at the time, wasn't an easy decision to take, because no one knew what it was exactly, and there were no job descriptions for that. So I had to basically create my job every time.
Yeah, that's right. So tell me a little bit about how Heavnn uses technology, because I tried it myself and I thought it was really, really enlightening. And so it kind of starts with someone taking what you call your digital assessment on your website. Did I say that correctly? Your digital assessment? Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that process.
Yes, exactly. So we use technology in two parts of our solution. The first part is the collection of data. You may be used to working with professionals and have tons of emails, lengthy meetings to talk about many things regarding your situation, answer questions, and afterwards maybe have the same questions later on, but phrased differently. So with our digital interview, what we did is that we formalized this dialogue this dialogue that is aimed at collecting information from you. We formalize it into a very quick, simple interview online so that we know that this boring phase of collecting information, asking you for documents, and all of this is managed in a very simple, user-friendly process. So that was really our first goal with that, to make it interactive. It has been a lot of work, a lot of feedback from the community. The very first version, we received a lot of feedback from users telling us, I don't understand the question, or I prefer to talk to a real human, even if it's a boring conversation. So we really had to work on this with our community, with the users, to reach a version that finally people love in general, even if they still like to talk to us. But we basically streamline this process of collecting the information, and we both save time. So us as experts and the user at the end, because it's a 10 minutes process to know everything about them instead of hours and hours. So that's the first use that we make of technology in our solution. And the second one is that we also integrate the rules of multiple countries, the tax rules of multiple countries, and we use this basically our tax intelligence. That's how we call that. So the rules in our software, in order to compute the best scenario for users based on their digital interview. That means that once they answered the different questions, the digital interview, that can be, are you married or single? What is the structure of your assets? How do you travel? So that we can identify if they are digital nomads, international remote workers, etc. And do you have people that you need to take care of? So basically, once we ask all those questions and we understand the situation of the users from a 360-degree perspective, then we can use this information to compute the perfect global tax optimization scenario. And at the end, the only thing that remains for us to discuss is the human aspect. What do you want to do? What is your goal with this travel scenario? What do you want to achieve?
And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because I think that's actually pretty important because this isn't a well laid out path. We're all learning from each other. Whether you're a digital nomad, you're an expat, you're an immigrant, we call it peregrine in our community, but there's not really a roadmap or a culture that's alive and well before. So we're all kind of learning as we go. And so do you feel like, I feel like when we spoke before, you had a very clear idea that you didn't want to encourage people to go somewhere just because they should. It was more about making what they desire possible financially.
Absolutely. Exactly. This is a very important position for us, a very important statement, is that we don't want to push people to do what we call tax exile. That means that for tax reasons that you should leave everything behind and travel to this other country. It can be, I don't know, you need to go to Georgia or you need to go to Cayman Islands, and there is no other solution if you want to optimize taxes. This is something that we see very often. That there are some advices about the best places you should travel to if you want to optimize your taxes. Actually, what we do is that we analyze all tax systems, because tax systems have a philosophy behind them. Depending on the country, they want to help specific kind of people, and they want to tax more specific kind of people. So what we do is, based on the travel wishes of our clients, we want to make their aspirations fit with the right tax system that is on their path. That means that if they want to travel to the Asian region, we will find the best scenario in this region. We like to say that besides being a tax business, we're also a lifestyle business, because we really want to fit with what our client wants, and we don't want to push them to do something that they don't want. For us, it doesn't make sense. At some point, they can get frustrated. It feels like a sacrifice. So this is definitely not something that we want to do. We really want to fit with their lifestyle, yes, and we're absolutely discouraging tax exile in general.
Yeah. And how does that, but it sounds like you can kind of design a year or 2 years or the next 10 years, and kind of under the guidance of Heavnn, you can say you want to go somewhere in Asia. You guys would be able to help suggest a few places if there's more of a general idea, or maybe warn against not going somewhere for too long. So it kind of, if you come to you with an overall idea of what you want to do, you guys help hone it a little bit and say, hey, this could be better if you stayed 3 months or 3 months instead of 4 months, let's say. Is that the kind of guidance that someone could expect if they come to you?
Yes, exactly. So what you were mentioning is the travel plan. We also offer, as part of our solution, a travel plan. That means, yeah, you should stay that long in that country or a little bit longer there, based on what the user told us during the digital interview. So we don't just arrive with new ideas. You should travel to Canada, or I don't know, something that you've never heard of. We really start from this digital interview. But more than advising, what we do is that we literally implementing the scenario. That means that we will first do this work of understanding what the clients want. We will make some propositions of travel plans and optimization plans. But the end goal is to implement the scenario. That means that we take the clients by the end, and we help them implement the scenario concretely. That can be registering professionally in one country. It can be having registering also for social security in another one. It can be contacting some tax authorities to make sure that they break tax residency. So those are all the tasks that are needed to implement the scenario, and we go beyond only advising on what to do. We implement it.
That's really helpful distinction as well, because I think, it's more hands-on. And I think that's what people learn. I always say, our job is to make one of my jobs at House of Peregrine is to make your life match your Instagram photos, because living internationally or living abroad is amazing and beautiful and so enriching, but it is also a lot of administrative work. And so I think that having these conversations with people like you brings full picture or full circle, the community aspect that has to come, because sometimes you can't Google this stuff, and sometimes it just takes days to Google stuff. And so having people like you who understand and respect the impulse and the need and the actual dignity in doing something like this is really helpful. And so I think what I'm understanding is you would take someone, let's say someone wants to take a year off with their family and travel around, which we saw a lot in the last few years. But also if someone wants to be working remotely, they could also come to you, and as long as they have permission from their job, could work remotely. Or they can also come to you if they want to start a remote company. Do I have that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. They can come to us if they want to start a remote company. Can help with the right setup, and also help with the right setup for their employees, depending on their stage. But also we help people who wants to start a remote job. That means that when they got this remote job and they're wondering, okay, how will I work remotely? What will be my lifestyle from there? We can help them from day one to figure out with their employers if they want to have this conversation with them, including their employer. We have them design already their global remote setup, so that they know from day one what to do, how to manage that, and what is the right setup. Because this is something that we see very often: people signing a remote work contract, but actually without having a setup, just having a contract. They don't have a status. They don't know what they are at the end. They don't know how things are going to work for them instead of taxes. They have no idea, but they just start working. So basically, we help with this part and make sure that they are secured, so that they don't have bad surprises in 2 or 3 years with different tax authorities, or even just regarding social securities as well.
Right.
Social security.
So you're there to provide advocacy as well, because you've kind of seen all the scenarios. And a lot of people are taking their first remote working position in this, that there's a lot of people coming away from 9-to-5 jobs in a single location to a more remote position. And so that's actually a really important and interesting part, I think, is that you guys have that experience to kind of guide them through making sure they know what they're getting in themselves into. That's really cool. So tell me, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I think what Heavnn's doing is really cool. I want to know about the trends you're seeing in countries as far as their attitudes towards this type of worker, or if there's any trends you're seeing right now.
Did you know that House of Peregrine has an app? It is full of resources, information, and products to make life as an international more connected and more intentional. As a member of House of Peregrine, you also now have access to exclusive discounts, products, guides, and events to make life more fun and connected. Simply download the app at houseofperegrine.com and save it to your home screen. Okay, back to the show.
Actually, this is difficult to observe a trend at the moment, because basically, and this is something that we say regularly to our clients, but also in conferences where we're invited, is that during the COVID period, the OECD recommended to the local tax administrations not to punish the people working remotely from another location. So that means that there were plenty of opportunities to already audit some international workers that started to travel during the COVID period. So companies that basically hired those workers and therefore have operations in a foreign country that can trigger so tax consequences depending on the country and the duration of the work in this country. So all of this has been kind of stopped because of the OECD recommendations, which is great. The only thing is we don't know exactly how this is going to work in the coming years, because I think 2022 has been the first year without those recommendations from the OECD, which means that from next year we start seeing the consequences, maybe more audits towards individuals, but also companies. We already see companies getting fined because they don't have the right compliance scheme regarding their remote workers working from different countries. But I'm afraid that we see this phenomenon getting stronger and faster in the coming years in terms of auditing, in terms of tax penalties, and all of this. So this is the first trend that I would say. Besides that, if I can describe the word in a very simplistic way, I would say that there are countries that are benefiting from the new digital nomad trend. I say benefiting, actually wanting to benefit from this trend with digital nomad visas, trying to attract remote workers so that can benefit their economy. Because just to explain quickly, a remote worker or digital nomad is, from an economic perspective, more valuable than a simple tourist, because they don't only come to buy a couple of souvenirs and then eat in a few restaurants and then leave. They actually establish a temporary life there. So they use co-working spaces. They consume more as locals. They buy material, etc. So everything they need to work. So they are way more valuable from an economic perspective. So this is so we see this trend of countries generally small, but not only trying to attract digital nomads. So this is the case of Barbados in the Caribbean. We see also Croatia in Europe, and many other countries. We have more than 40 digital nomad visas currently in force. And in the country, we also see countries that are about to get more strict in terms of controlling the remote workers and where they work from, and make sure that they are compliant with their tax obligations, as well as for companies. Same thing. We kind of see the beginning of more auditing and a greater vigilance from the tax administrations regarding companies, and make sure that they have the right scheme in terms of hiring a remote workforce.
Yeah, that's interesting. So as the trend has grown, I think it's made countries more aware of how they impact that it's happening. It's not just a small group, it's growing, I think.
Yeah.
So I would love to ask you, what do you tell everybody when they come to you? What is some advice you always give the majority of your clients? It can be financially or otherwise, about becoming an location independent worker.
Yeah. So basically, the very basic advice, because in general, something that is very connected to being a location independent is the financial freedom. This is something in general the clients coming to see us, they have in mind that they want to avoid penalties. But if they start a digital nomad lifestyle, it's also because they want to become financially free, and they aspire to a certain form of freedom. So basically, what we say from a financial perspective is that there are three principles to remember, and this is also a very simplistic way to explain it. It's basically financial freedom has three steps. The first one is to make money. The second one is to keep this money. And the third one is to grow this money. Very easy. And making this money, it can be through a remote job, it can be through investing, it can maybe not investing at this stage, but finding a remote job, your own business, a side gig, anything that helps you make money. But the whole point of those three steps is that if you make money and then you lose this money at the end of the month or at the end of the year because you don't manage it correctly, then you're in an infinite cycle where when you have money and then you don't have money anymore, or a few days, a few months later. So the other part where we are at Heavnn, this is our job, is to keep this money. And keeping this money, that can be in terms of geo arbitrage, as we call it. That means stop paying expensive rent in the middle of London, but maybe that can be interesting with the same salary to move to a cheaper location. This is already a good way of keeping the money. And also the other part is to stop paying heavy taxes while you have other options as a mobile worker. We don't encourage tax evasion, but basically for people who want already to travel, it's better to take advantage of this status of location independent to choose the best tax options. There is nothing more disappointing for me, but I see it regularly, than digital nomads traveling the world the whole year, getting through 25 countries in a year, and then going back home at the end of the year to pay heavy taxes in, I don't know, in Germany or in even Netherlands as well, depending on their situation. I find it too bad because they had a year of opportunities, and at the end, they still didn't use that to keep the money that they earn. So that's that's the second part, and the third part of this triptych is growing the money. That can be through doing the right investments, and it's important to have this financial literacy. We are partnering with financial advisors that advise our clients in terms of what to invest in, where to invest in which country, what are the opportunities at the moment, etc. So if there is something that everyone hears from me is that keep your money, make money, grow it, keep it growing.
Nice. So it's like everyone's growing up. Maybe digital nomads were young people, and now they're coming into a new phase of economic maturity with partnering with you.
Exactly. This is what we want to do. The same thing. What I particularly like with this ecosystem nomads and even services, because everyone brings something to the community, is how we can all improve our lives by using the services that others provide. It can be what you do right now with this podcast, and then basically providing information to people who want to be location independent. We have people that helps you find also nomads that help you find a remote job or help you become better as at selling yourself to land new clients or land new jobs. So our part in that is to kind of help people to keep their money and avoid the risk of working remotely. But we're also glad to be part of an ecosystem in general. It can be also the nomad insurances or other services.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I want to ask you just two more questions, actually. I want to touch briefly on like where you're living and like how you're thinking about your own journey. And then I want to briefly get into Heavnn's NFT offering, I guess. And so let's go with the first one first, which is, I just want to hear a little bit about your plan or journey, if you wouldn't mind sharing.
At the moment, I don't really have plans. The truth is, I have plans, but I never follow them because I also I also like to be spontaneous. Based on who I meet, sometimes I will hear interesting things or get invited to travel with another group or invited to visit a friend somewhere, and I like to take those opportunities that just arrive like this without me planning anything. So that's what I do. It can be also professionally. I'm invited to speak at a conference or something like this, and I think, okay, I didn't plan to go to Spain, for example, but I'm invited to this event, and at the same time I can discover the local food and the local culture. So this is what I've been doing in the past 10 months, and I think I will keep going for until mid 2023. But afterwards, I'm thinking of about having more of a location independent, but in the sense having two bases, one in Europe, another one in the US, and from there traveling time to time, but still staying in two locations, a little bit more than the others.
And I think that that's something that is really unusual, right? Like, at least from where I grew up and maybe other countries too, nobody was doing this, unless they were backpacking through a different country after university or something. And so I think it's really inspiring that not only are you doing this, but you're enabling it for others to live this life and still be kind of adult, fully formed adults. This is you're choosing this, and that is really, I think, really lovely.
This is actually thanks to COVID, it happened way faster than what I thought, but it has actually been a life project because my family lives in the Caribbean, in Guadeloupe. I have many friends in Europe. I have friends in the US, and at some point, I felt that like I had to choose a location and say, okay, I will see my family a little bit less, or even much less because they are far, to stay in Europe. Or if I go to the US, then I say goodbye to Europe and the Caribbean, and I can go there maybe one time a year, and then that's it. And with this digital nomad lifestyle, this is not true anymore. I can be anywhere, and this is in terms of lifestyle for what we call the third culture kids. This is a massive opportunity with remote work that we have to be everywhere and having connections everywhere. So that's what I did for myself, and that's what we help people do as well.
Okay. Love it. Okay. So I want to just touch briefly before I let you go about, because House of Peregrine is powered by Web3 and NFTs. I love to talk to other people about how they're utilizing this technology and how they're thinking about it. So I'd just love for you to tell us a little bit about how you guys are thinking about this, and maybe tell us where we can learn more about the NFT, but we'll also tell more about Heavnn in the show notes as well. But
Yeah. So the idea behind our NFT, so we have one collection right now that is called Fruits from Heavnn, and the idea is that we wanted to include our best ambassadors into the Heavnn project, because this is a tax technology business for location dependent workers, but it's also a community tool. We want to we want to include people in our journey. So this is why we started with this first NFT that would allow digital nomads or any remote workers, location dependent workers to join us. The thing is, this Fruits from Heavnn collection basically allows their owners to have a lifetime access to Heavnn. That means that once you hold one of those NFTs, you can manage your tax situation every year without paying a dime. This is for free, and as long as you hold the NFT. But what we want to do now is to, maybe not with such a big benefit, because it cannot be free for everyone, but we want to enlarge this initiative with new NFTs, some sort of crowdfunding, not only for the part of getting fundings from people, because we also do our fundraising, but it's mainly to include as many digital nomads as we can into our journey to get feedback, because thanks to the community that we could improve our tools a lot. We receive a lot of sometimes brutally honest feedback, and that helped a lot. So we with this new collection of NFTs, we also want to include more people into this into our journey. Yeah, this is our NFTs can actually be found on our website. So quick reminder: our website is heavnn.io, Heavnn with a double N at the end, and there is a section called NFT where you can find the first collection, Fruits from Heavnn, and we're preparing a new collection that will be more in the crowdfunded / participating idea for the community.
And why did you think you wanted to do this through NFT? Was it just a fascination with the technology plus seeing it as a use case, or fundraising? All of it's valid. I just love talking to other communities that are doing something around this.
Because the NFT, it's definitely, let's be honest, it was some kind of fascination first, because we loved the idea behind NFTs and being able to, even the artistic way, the art part behind NFTs. That means that you can use that to offer new pieces of art to an audience. You can also use that to get a community working together, to get a membership system. So we found it very interesting that Web3 could enable a more horizontal world instead of this vertical world where we do something and you have followers. So it was very compatible with our idea of what a community should be, especially as we're a community-driven product, because our product addresses only digital nomads or remote-first companies. That means that a person that is not traveling won't find an interest in our product. So the NFT fits pretty well with what we want to achieve.
Yeah.
So naturally, we wanted to give it a try, and so far so good. So let's see what's next in terms of Web3 and NFTs.
Yeah, sounds good. You've given us such a great overview. I really appreciate your time. And I would encourage anyone who thinks that Stephanne and Heavnn can be useful to go to their website and take the initial digital interview, because I think it's really enlightening. So if you're thinking of traveling for a year or 2 or 3, or if you already have been traveling and would like some advice, I think that this is a great service for anyone who has this as part of their life story. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mickelle, for having me.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. For the latest insights on living internationally, Join us at houseofperegrine.com to find out how you can connect with our community. Let's craft our life story with intention together.